I really didn't think we were going to have an existential crisis for Ririsa out of nowhere. A cosplay existential crisis. The most simple-minded girl in this entire series, out of nowhere, is actually having deep thoughts about, should I really even cosplay? It was good. It was good. I feel like a lot of this episode 9 of 2.5 Dimensional Seduction, was kind of cheesy. And yes, to the credit of the writer, it's supposed to be cheesy, at least the later part. This whole, like, massive statements that Masamune makes. He comes in there as the hero of the shonen show and says all the right things that are stupid simple, but they're what you need to hear kind of moment. It all kind of plays into the joke, but at the same time, it was good. What kind of shocked me about this episode was really that up until this point, Ririsa has been sort of portrayed as a very simple-minded person. It is one of those things where you kind of expect her to turn and burp, and everybody giggles, like, oh, it wasn't actually that important. Wait, Ririsa is going through something really crazy. Nagomi talked to her. Oh no, what's wrong with Ririsa? Something's wrong. She's got to be in trouble or something right now. And then she turns around and she burps. Oh, it was just about the skirt. That's the joke. But no, they actually dug into it. And I think the great point about that is the very end, again, even though it's very cheesy, Masamune basically tells her, Ririsa, you're important. Ririsa, the cosplayer, that's big. That's from Masamune, which again is stupid. It's really stupid. It's big. It's very, very big. But obviously, I think Mayura is probably the biggest shining beacon of the episode. I think the things that she said really did kind of set up everything for Masamune. Here, it's all set up for you. Just hit the ball. And he comes in there, he hits the ball. But no, they did skip a chapter for Miyuri, which kind of really sucks. But I'll leave that at the very end. I'll talk about that at the very end because it technically is kind of important. But I know why they skipped it. But let's jump into the episode proper. Let's jump into each one of the characters. And I think that's the best way to kind of cover this episode. Let's start off with Ririsa. Again, obviously this being her big episode. And again, I'm very much so surprised that they followed through with this. This idea that Ririsa is in fact dealing with something here. It isn't as simple as the fact that she needs to burp. Like I keep joking about. Nagomi's words did really hit her. And I think that really is, again, I made it a joke, but it is really true, the existential crisis about what she is. Does she really love cosplay as much as she does? And I think that's the thing that's really kind of set up here is, I think it is sort of the skirt too. The skirt is sort of the thing that tips her over. Like what Nagomi says does make her kind of question, but then she realizes she doesn't have her skirt. And I think that kind of sets her off, or at least gives her an excuse to stop. Okay, well, I'm questioning if I love cosplay enough and I don't have the skirt, so let's just give up. That's really what it was her excuse. Let's just give up. It's not really that important. And I like how it kind of puts it in the idea that everything that's built up to this point is that she has been cosplaying because she likes Lilio. And it's sort of one of those question marks of, did she really love the cosplay itself? It seemed like she did. All signs seem to point that she liked doing cosplay. So it is kind of a question mark there. But I guess it is enough for her to really question, did she really love it? Is she really that good at it? There's plenty of other ways that I can go about showing my love of it, and it does seem like somebody's kind of pushing back against me. Everybody else for the cosplay has been supportive. Yes, Magino they made some jabs there at the con and whatnot, but you know that there was some love behind that. Everybody has supported Ririsa. This is the first point that it seems to show us where somebody's pushing back. No, you're not a good cosplayer. I'm better than you. Finally, somebody's pushing back. And it does technically end that with Nagomi later on, that yes, Nagomi's like, if she can't handle this, she needs to get out. Which is like, you're the only one. So what are you talking about here? Somebody pushed back. And finally, technically her mother did too, so she should be used to it by then. She's had the worst critic her entire life. Her mother didn't like her cosplaying. So it does kind of make you question, why would Nagomi pushing back be enough for that? But again, we're not going to think too much about that. We're not going to think too much about that. The current moment is this. And I do like that I don't like it. I actually really do hate what Masamune says. I do like the fact that Magino is there to kind of stop him pushing back and saying, what was all this for? Why do we do all this stuff? And then having Magino kind of say, hey, dude, I told you need to speak your mind, but you also need to know when to stop. You're starting to say things that you don't believe. Why? Why even bother with cosplay? And like I said, I think everything where Miyuri shows up and kind of bolsters her is the important thing there. Miyuri is literally saying, it doesn't really matter. You're overthinking it. You're trying to find a reason for why you like it. Like for me, I'll give myself an example. Why do you love anime? Oh, I don't know. I thought it was for this. I thought it was for this. It's just because I like it. And Mayuri's story was actually really good because it is getting into, yes, the fact that she was an outsider, just like Ririsa. She wanted to do something different. I was this person that was very shy. I wanted to cosplay to remove myself from myself. I wanted to be somebody else. I wanted to be somebody with confidence. And sure enough, it ends up being like the most spicy thing possible. The lust a lot. I want to be this character. I want to be this one that's out showy and everything like that. And it gets into what kind of made her what she is. But in the end, the comment to Ririsa is that, oh yeah, seek your dreams. Just do it because you enjoy it. You don't need a reason. You could make all these different reasons. You could start out because of this reason, and you can change. It's all because it's something you want to do. And like I said, having Masamune come at the end with the final little hit there is her knight in shining armor running up there and saying, I found it. Let's go do it. I'm the one that's doing this with you. Let's do this together. We enjoy it. Do it because you enjoy it. But again, I think the important thing at the very end there is what Masamune says, even though, again, it's kind of cheesy. He's simply saying, Ririsa, I like your cosplay. Liliel's, yeah, that's great. That's fine. I love Liliel. Yeah, she's great. I love your Liliel. But no, that's not what it is. Get Lilia out of the picture. Which, again, is kind of big for Masamune. This is a person that all he cares about is 2D. But here he's saying, I like your 3D. I like Ririsa. Ririsa is the reason I'm here. I like your cosplay. And yes, technically dredging up all those same things about people judging people, which is something that technically she brought up when she initially showed him her desire for cosrom and her love of cosplay and stuff. She was afraid of him judging her. And again, here he's saying, I'm not going to judge you. A real otaku never judge people for what they love. Hey, fandom. Hey, all those people out there like to judge other fandoms, the shonens and the ecchi people and all of you, everybody judging each other. Real otaku don't judge each other. No matter what you love, no matter how you love it, no matter what direction you take for loving what you love, don't judge it. Even otaku that are joking about people that are cosplaying as characters at a con and being dorks about it, you're all judging each other. Real otaku don't. He does make some random comment about like not wanting to admit it out loud. Like, you guys love your stuff, but you just don't want to admit it out loud. You're jealous because these people are willing to say it out loud. But again, him basically saying that no matter what, no matter if she's broken, no matter if she wants to give up, I'm going to root for you, not Liliel. I'm going to root for Ririsa. He wants to root for her. Again, really cute, very simple, but at the same time, very impactful. I want to leave Miyuri for last, but yes, Nagomi, we had a little brief moment of, again, seeing it coming from a mile away. I think everybody's seen it coming. Her briefly seeing Masamune, that making her absolutely geek out. She's going to do a good job. And it technically did kind of highlight the idea of what she gets. She calls for them. Give me the pamphlet. Looks at the pamphlet. Yep. This is all they tell us that we're supposed to do. I'm supposed to cosplay this character, and I have one line of reference that she's from some small village over here. So that she has to think about this small village, and then she, does an incredible job, which is cool. I had a lot of fun discussion on the Discord, or at least a lot of people were giving me feedback about, do you really believe that Nagomi is a real cosplayer? And I think that is an honestly good question. I was really curious about the cosplay world and what they would view somebody who literally all they do is put on the outfit. That's all Nagomi's doing. Now here it's showing that she is going out of her way to try to figure it out when she's not given much to work with, and she's always cosplayed a lot of stuff in order to get attention, and how that counters Mayura and the idea that, they only cosplay one thing. Liliel's over here only cosplaying one thing. They need to branch out more. I branched out. I got massively popular. But she also points out the fact that Mayura, even still, was always more popular than her. But it shows a lot of that competitiveness. Nagomi apparently has a very competitive side, and that would explain why she said what she did to Ririsa, that she was very kind of outspoken against her. But again, I think it's a really cool discussion there, because in the end, Nagomi is a cosplayer, no matter if she makes her own cosplay or not, because she's at least doing whatever roles that she can do for herself. There still requires her to put in a certain amount of effort to make the cosplay itself successful. You can throw a costume on anything. It's not going to make it suddenly sell. She sells it. So, and the reverse is true as well. Just how far back can you go before did you make your own cosplay? You can buy a skirt and modify it, but you bought the skirt. It's an interesting question. Like, how much of your own effort does it take to be called a cosplayer? I think Miyuri in this episode kind of paints it best. And the idea that if you just love it and you're doing it, who cares what anybody thinks? Anyways, let's get into Miyuri, because I think that was probably the star beacon of this episode. I loved getting her backstory and the idea that she essentially got into cosplay because she wasn't popular at all. Like, she had no friends, and so she wanted to be something different, something that wasn't the shy girl that she was. She was doing it in order to get out of that shell and become somebody else. And yes, she chooses the most skimpy outfit person possible. That home ec teacher, that home ec teacher, good girl. That lady, great. No matter what. Oh, she looks so cute. Yeah, sure, do it. Gambare. No matter what she brought to this teacher, the teacher's like, yeah, you could do it. You can do it. Really good teacher. But yes, that technically gets into the fact that, oh, shocker here, Miyuri in the end actually went to her dreams. She actually fulfilled her dreams. Like Ririsa is trying to build towards something, she was doing that same thing. She just forgot about it. I wanted to be a teacher the whole time, and I technically became a teacher. So I did fulfill my dreams. You can reach your dreams. It's at some point she just got into her head that she was doing it because it was a stable job. But in actuality, no, that was always her dream. Her dream was always to be a teacher. So she fulfilled that. So Ririsa in front of her, she could do it too. It was a cute little aha moment for Miyuri. I think it was really, really sweet. But I think what she brings to Ririsa is a really great thing there. It started out as this, then it turned to this, and then it turned to this. It was originally because I wanted to change myself. It didn't turn into I liked cosplay. And then it turned into, well, I need to cosplay for this event. Then it became this, then this, and this. It evolved over time. But in the end, the thing that was always constant was that you just do what you want to do. It's what you want to do. And yes, in the end, I'm cosplaying now to help you. It was so sweet. Again, I really wasn't expecting them to fix Miyuri this quickly. I thought this was going to be something that was going to probably drag out for a little bit longer, but it was as simple as that. Yeah, technically autopilot and brought her cosplay there, which I think is a little bit of a stretch, but it was cute. In the end, it's this idea that she pushed herself to get back in that cosplay, and yes, threaten her career like she always kind of thinks is going to happen, all for the sake of helping Ririsa. It doesn't always have to fit into a mold, and I think that's what it's kind of portraying here. But no, the skip chapter, I was a little bit bummed by this, and again, this is something that they could cover in the future. I doubt it, just because it's so kind of off the side and very ecchi, is, yes, a little brief chapter of Miyuri and Eri. And again, Eri is the one that talked to Ririsa about Mayuta, the cosplayer, leaving. She's one of the big ones. I think she's one of the big. But anyways, it's Mayuri Sensei's cosplay friend. When they were in college, at some point, Eri is trying to get Mayuri to do a cosplay with her. She says she wants to do it because there's somebody that she likes. And Mayuri's like, oh, well, that's great. I hope he likes you back. And you have this little brief moment of Eri's like, really? Yes, this chapter is implying that Eri is really into Mayuri Sensei. like Yuri thirst levels here. So I was a little bit bummed that they kind of skipped that whole segment, because it's like, okay, cool, we have Yuri in this show now. They get into cosplay together, and the whole idea of the cosplay, this idea of Eri's character is in love with Mayuri's character, but she can't express it. So you have these little brief moments of them getting really close, and she's getting flustered, but she's supposed to kind of hide it a little bit. And then you have this moment where Eri's supposed to push herself to get really in there with Mayuri, and they kiss, and yes, Doki Dokis are happening. So it kind of sucks they skipped that. Again, it's super spicy, got these little string outfits and everything, and they're kind of showing everything. But again, I understand why they're skipping it. I don't necessarily see the adaptation, unless Eri becomes a very important character later on. And this is something they can kind of express later on as a story beat, insinuate at some other point. But again, it makes sense that they skipped it, because the show's going to be more focused on Ririsa and Masamune. The sad thing is, though, that makes me want more Eri in the show. I want more Eri and Mayuri in the show, just them hanging out together. Maybe we'll get that, because it seems like Mayuri is kind of getting over that block. It seems like she's going to be an advisor to her and kind of help her with the situation and trying to catch the attention of the crowd. I do have to kind of admit, it's kind of annoying. This is the second cosplay event that we've done in this story so far, and both cosplay events, she's always missing something and she's late. Is that going to be the shtick for every cosplay event? Is that she forgets something, and then that she's kind of in a disadvantage, and that she has to come out there at the very end and catch everybody's attention, and everybody's oohed and awed, that she's able to grab the crowds from everybody? I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, that's my thoughts on episode 9. I didn't actually think I was going to talk this much about this, but I think it's a decent episode. It's got some good story beats in there, and it was good to talk about. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, hit that like button down below, comment, let me know what's that episode. Additionally, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like this content and you want to support the channel more, I have links in the description below. Greatly appreciate if it does. Until next time, I'll take care.